If you're struggling with kidney problems, there's one vital step you need to take before trying anything else. You must face and fix the very first thing that's quietly causing the damage. So, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is your blood pressure really under control? Are you doing everything you can to stop diabetes from taking over? Are you calming down the silent inflammation that could be eating away at your kidneys every single day? I'm a doctor, and honestly, nothing brings me more joy than hearing from people who've turned their health around, people just like you. Here's a message that made my week. I stumbled on your channel right after being diagnosed with stage 3 CKD and proteinuria. I was terrified. But after following your advice, taking B vitamins, curcumin, and Asiatic fiber to help clear the protein and waste from my blood, I've actually reversed my stage 3 CKD back to stage 2. My doctor told me kidney disease never improves, but my latest blood test shows my GFR is over 60. He couldn't believe it and said, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Isn't that incredible? This person's name is Luke, and what he did is nothing short of inspiring. He didn't just follow instructions, he proved his doctor wrong. Luke's kidneys are working again, filtering waste like they're meant to. That's real healing, and it all started because he decided to tackle the root cause of his disease, not just the symptoms. For him, it was proteinuria. For you, it might be something else. And that's what I'm here to help you uncover today. I'm going to walk you through the 10 most powerful ways to defeat the true causes of kidney damage, whether it's proteinuria, high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, or chronic inflammation. Whatever's standing between you and healthy kidneys, we're going to beat it together. To kick things off, let's quite literally spill the tea on the one that helped Luke turn his kidneys around. In my experience, proteinuria, that unwanted protein showing up in your urine, is the line that separates those who are getting better from those slowly saying goodbye to their kidneys. But before you worry, let me reassure you there's real hope. And it begins with something simple, comforting, and delicious: Cordyceps tea, our number 10 for today. I've recommended Cordyceps to many of my patients, especially those struggling with proteinuria, and the results have been nothing short of amazing. The science backs it up too. According to the Cochrane Library, basically the gold standard for evidence-based research, Cordyceps has been shown to significantly lower serum creatinine and even reduce proteinuria. No wonder Luke saw such progress. Now, here's the beautiful part: Luke didn't just take Cordyceps as a supplement, he started brewing it into tea, following my special, science-backed recipe. And yes, I promise it's not as complicated as it sounds, no PhD required to make it. Here's how to do it right. Start with 5 or 6 Cordyceps fruiting bodies. You can easily find them on Amazon or at most Asian markets. Drop them into about 250 milliliters of boiling water. Let it boil for 1 minute, then turn the heat to low, cover it, and let it simmer for 15 minutes. Research shows that 15 minutes is the sweet spot, long enough to extract the powerful compounds, but not so long that they break down. That'll give you one strong 8-ounce cup, but you can always add more water if you prefer it milder. Once it's ready, sip your tea slowly, ideally after breakfast or lunch. And here's a little secret: don't throw away the Cordyceps afterward. Those little stems are full of good stuff: ergosterol, a natural form of vitamin D, cordycepin, a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, plus trace minerals that your kidneys absolutely love. Simple, soothing, and science-backed. That's how Luke started his healing journey, 1 cup at a time. Alright, up next, number 9. We're still talking about proteinuria, but this time, we're stepping it up a notch. Because what could be even more powerful than Cordyceps tea? Vitamin D. I call it the kidney vitamin. And if your levels are low, your kidneys are quietly crying out for help while proteinuria is having a field day. I can't say this enough: if you're dealing with kidney issues or high albumin in your urine, please get your vitamin D levels checked. Here's why it matters so much. Depending on your CKD stage, your PTH, and phosphorus levels, a basic vitamin D supplement might not cut it. In some cases, you may need the stronger forms, the medical versions like calcitriol or alpha-calcidiol, to truly make a difference. But that's not all. Vitamin D also plays a quiet but crucial role in blood pressure control. When your vitamin D is too low, even your blood pressure medications, those ACE inhibitors and ARBs, don't work as well as they should. And yes, the side effects still show up, even when the benefits don't. Now, speaking of blood pressure, let's talk about that. I know what you're probably thinking: Catherine, I'm already on a handful of meds for this. Do I really need to do anything else? But here's the thing. Some of the most important studies on kidney recovery have found that patients on standard blood pressure drugs like ACE inhibitors, ARBs, or loop diuretics often don't improve as much as those who aren't taking them. That doesn't mean you should stop your meds, please don't. Uncontrolled blood pressure is far more dangerous than the pills themselves. Quitting suddenly would be like trying to stop your car before hitting a wall, by stepping on the gas. What I want you to do instead is support your body naturally. Give your kidneys and your blood pressure the gentle, natural boost they need to truly heal. Because when your numbers start to stabilize on their own, that's when real recovery begins. Alright, number 8 on our list today, and it's a big one for controlling blood pressure, is your lifestyle choices. Now, don't scroll past this part just yet. I know you've probably heard it all before, but hear me out. Did you know that regular exercise is the only thing proven to lower blood pressure even in people whose medications have completely stopped working? That's right. There are people out there taking 3, 4, even 5 blood pressure pills a day, still seeing no improvement, when the real key could be something as simple as a 30-minute brisk walk. Every single day. That one small step can literally protect your heart and your kidneys. So, promise me something: don't let that person be you. Exercise is not just helpful, it's powerful. In fact, it's more powerful than any pill I could ever prescribe. And while we're on the topic of powerful things, let's move to number 7, something just as impactful: maintaining a healthy weight. Now, this next one might surprise you. It's a supplement that most people don't even associate with blood pressure, but it can make a huge difference: coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10. CoQ10 is one of my favorite nutrients because it protects your kidneys and your heart at the same time. Research shows it can lower blood pressure by up to 17/10 millimeters of mercury, which is incredible. But that's not all. It's also one of the body's strongest antioxidants. Here's the catch: your natural CoQ10 levels start dropping as you age, especially after 50, and even more if you're taking statins or beta blockers. It's like your body chooses the worst possible time to slow production, right when you need it most. So if you're over 50 or on those medications, do yourself a favor and start supplementing with CoQ10. Here's a little pro tip: take it with a few Brazil nuts, which are rich in selenium. These two nutrients actually enhance each other's absorption like best friends working together for your kidneys. And now, moving on to number 6, something most people completely underestimate: inflammation. When I say inflammation, I'm not just talking about the kind that gives you a fever or a swollen ankle. I'm talking about the quiet, internal inflammation that slowly eats away at your kidneys over time. This can happen with conditions like glomerulonephritis, lupus nephritis, vasculitis, or nephrotic syndrome. But even if you've never been diagnosed with any of these, chances are your kidneys are still dealing with some level of inflammation. Here's how you can tell. If your C-reactive protein, CRP, level is above 5 mg per liter, your body is fighting inflammation and your kidneys might be caught in the crossfire. But don't worry, the fix is actually quite simple. Enter the B vitamins, especially vitamin B12. Studies have shown that raising your B12 levels can help lower inflammation markers, protecting your kidneys from further damage. And if you're living with CKD, this is one group of vitamins you should always supplement, especially if inflammation might be in the picture. Just make sure you're using one that's formulated for kidney health, like Renovite, Nephrovite, or Prenatal Plus. Regular multivitamins often contain too much of what your kidneys don't need, so go for the ones made specifically for you. Now, let's talk about number 5, and this one is a true powerhouse. It doesn't just calm inflammation inside the kidneys, it also helps soothe the painful symptoms of conditions like gout and osteoarthritis. I'm talking about curcumin, the golden compound inside turmeric. I always recommend adding a pinch of turmeric along with a bit of black pepper to your meals, or taking it as a quality supplement. The pepper helps your body absorb curcumin far better, so you get the full benefit. Here's why it matters. Curcumin has been shown to lower creatinine levels in people with chronic kidney disease. But what makes it truly special is this curcumin doesn't just fight inflammation, it actually helps repair damaged cells inside your organs. Yes, really. It supports healing at a level most supplements can't reach. But hold on, before you start sprinkling turmeric on everything from your breakfast oats to your evening tea, there's a little secret to unlocking its full healing potential. If you want curcumin to work its magic, especially if you also struggle with diabetes, you should pair it with another powerful herb, astragalus. When curcumin and astragalus are taken together, studies show remarkable results, including faster healing in diabetic wounds and improved glucose detoxification. Most impressive of all, this combo has been shown to boost kidney function in stage 4 CKD patients by over 12% in just 3 months. That's not just good, that's life-changing. And since we're talking about diabetes, let me remind you of something really important. Diabetes isn't just about blood sugar, it's also about visceral fat, the fat that wraps around your organs and blocks your pancreas from making or using insulin properly. That's why our number 3 on this list for people with type 2 diabetes is weight loss, not just for appearance, but for survival. Most diabetes medications only manage symptoms. But if you want to stop the root cause, the visceral fat, you have to go after it through lifestyle and diet. And remember what we talked about earlier, how exercise can lower blood pressure even when medications fail. Well, it can do the same for diabetes. By moving your body more, you're fighting off 2 of the biggest threats to your kidneys at the same time: high blood pressure and high blood sugar. And here's a bonus. This same lifestyle change, regular movement, is one of the most effective ways to control cholesterol, too. Now, I get it, cholesterol often gets ignored when you're already juggling kidney issues, medications, and diet restrictions. But don't underestimate it. Think of cholesterol as the quiet troublemaker, the one that slowly clogs your arteries while you're busy fighting everything else. Don't let it sneak up on you and turn your arteries into plasterboard. Your kidneys and your heart deserve better. And now, we're down to number 2, and this one is a real game changer for anyone struggling with high cholesterol: phytosterols. You might have heard them called plant sterols or stanols. These are natural compounds found in plants that actually block cholesterol from being absorbed in your intestines during digestion. Pretty amazing, right? One of the best-known brands is Kistu, but honestly, there are plenty of high-quality options out there that work just as well and cost less. The science behind them is solid. Just 2 grams of phytosterols a day can lower bad cholesterol, LDL, by 8 to 10%. That's a big difference from such a simple, natural supplement. And now, drumroll please, let's talk about number 1, my absolute favorite food for cholesterol and kidney health alike, oatmeal. Oats are packed with beta-glucans, a special kind of fiber that does wonders for your heart and kidneys. In one study, simply adding rolled oats to bread led to an 11% drop in total cholesterol. That's incredible, and it's something you can easily do at home. But numbers aside, I've seen it with my own eyes. People who start their day with a bowl of sugar-free oatmeal, topped with fruits and nuts, often see their lab results improve across the board. Lower cholesterol, better blood pressure, more stable blood sugar, even better digestion. Oats are like the Swiss Army knife of healthy foods. Whatever your body needs help with, chances are there's an oat for that. So if you're looking for a breakfast that makes your kidneys and your whole body say thank you, go for oats. In this video, I'm going to share something truly special with you, something I've never talked about on this channel before. It's a study that shows how 120 people with stage 3 and stage 4 CKD managed to reverse their GFR decline, just by following a simple 15-minute class. These people were invited to take part in a short, individual session about the renal diet, followed by a few easy-to-understand lectures. They learned things like how much protein to eat, how to balance portions, how to cook kidney-friendly meals, and even how to make small swaps that make a big difference. Pretty much everything we've been talking about here, but organized in a clear, simple way. Now, here's the exciting part. Could a 15-minute class really make a difference in stage 4 kidney disease? Can your life truly change that fast? Well, it did for them. After just 24 weeks, their GFR didn't go down, it went up. On average, by 2.8 points. That's huge, especially when you consider that at this stage, the GFR usually drops with time, not the other way around. Most doctors still believe improvement isn't possible at this point, but as you and I both know, that's not always true. And here's what makes this even more beautiful. They didn't use any expensive supplements or fancy treatments, not even the simple, affordable ones I often recommend, like acacia fiber or probiotics. Just a well-structured, balanced diet that's surprisingly easy to follow and not even extremely low in protein. By the way, this wasn't just any random study, it was a randomized controlled trial, published in the British Journal of Nutrition in 2022. So, it's the real deal. Now, let's take a closer look together at what exactly they did to achieve these incredible results to actually reverse GFR decline in people with stage 3 and 4 CKD. But before we dive in, just a quick reminder, please don't make any major changes to your diet without first talking to your nephrologist. Let's start with the very first and probably most important point, protein intake. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you already know how strongly I believe in a low-protein diet for protecting your kidneys. I've always said that when it comes to slowing or even reversing kidney damage, nothing works quite like keeping protein low, especially for those without diabetes. And yes, combining that with keto analogs can make it even more powerful. But here's the honest truth, it's not easy. A very low-protein diet can be tough to maintain, especially because you're meant to stay on it for a long time. And keto analogs? They can be expensive. Still, for many people, it's worth it because preserving kidney function is everything. But if you're someone who doesn't love the idea of cutting protein to almost zero, I have some good news from this study. The participants did limit protein but not drastically. In fact, they followed what we might call a gentle low-protein diet, without the need for keto analogs or any extreme restrictions. Their intake was around 0.75 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, instead of the much stricter 0.55 to 0.6 grams often recommended in clinical guidelines. They still improved their kidney function. That means they were able to keep some of their favorite protein foods and still see their GFR rise. Here's how they did it. Instead of cutting out protein completely, they replaced the problematic sources. Meat, fish, and poultry, all high in phosphorus, were taken off the menu. But instead of feeling deprived, they used egg whites as their main protein source. Simple, right? And smart, because egg whites are naturally low in phosphorus, which means they're gentle on the kidneys. Other phosphorus-containing foods like nuts, legumes, and dairy weren't completely off limits, they were just limited. The whole idea was to make the diet realistic and easy to follow while still being effective. Now, even though this study was done on people without diabetes, the same principle can absolutely work for those who do have diabetes. It's all about balance and portion control. So what did this diet actually look like day to day? Well, it was surprisingly vibrant and full of variety. The participants who saw improvements were eating about 4 servings of vegetables and 4 servings of fruit every day. That's roughly 4 to 6 ounces per serving, a generous amount of colorful, healing food. They also had around 8 to 9 servings of cereals, mostly from whole grains. 1 serving equals about 30 to 45 grams, so just a small bowl or slice each time, spread throughout the day. In short, it was a diet built around carbohydrates from whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, with limited sugar and healthy fats coming from unsaturated sources. Nothing extreme, nothing complicated, and that's exactly what makes it beautiful. Because sometimes, healing your kidneys isn't about drastic sacrifices or expensive supplements, it's about consistency, simplicity, and the kind of diet you can truly live with. Now, let's talk about something just as important: calories. In this study, the people who actually improved their kidney function weren't starving themselves or trying to lose weight. They followed what we call a normal calorie diet, meaning they maintained their body weight throughout the 24 weeks. And that's really important. Because when your weight swings up or down too much, it can directly affect how your kidneys function. So, the winning formula here was simple: limit protein, avoid high phosphorus foods, and keep your calories steady. That's what worked. But there's something else that really stood out in this study: their blood pressure. The participants who followed this plan saw a meaningful drop in blood pressure levels. At first, the researchers believed it was mainly because of lower sodium intake. Sodium was limited to under 2,000 milligrams a day, not easy, but still very doable. However, that wasn't the whole story. They discovered that the lower protein intake itself also played a role. When you give your kidneys a little less protein to process, they can rest and recover, and that naturally helps bring blood pressure down. And here's where things get even more interesting. The participants were also encouraged to eat more fruits and vegetables, something we talk about here all the time. This meant their potassium and fiber intake went up too. Now, you might be wondering, doesn't more potassium mean a higher risk of hyperkalemia? Surprisingly, no. Not a single person in the study developed high potassium levels. Instead, the opposite happened: their blood pressure improved even more. So, it seems that the magic happened through a combination of 3 simple things: lower protein, lower sodium, higher potassium from fruits and veggies. Together, these changes worked so well that some participants were even able to reduce their blood pressure medications, which is a huge win, because as you know, many of those drugs can put extra stress on the kidneys over time. And that's the beauty of it: when you feed your body right, it starts to heal itself quietly, from the inside out. When you look closely, you'll notice something interesting. Once protein and fat are reduced, carbohydrates naturally become the main source of energy. That's exactly what happened here. Most of the calories for those who improved their kidney function came from carbs. Now, this particular study wasn't done on people with diabetes, but here's what's important: no matter what type of kidney disease you're dealing with, limiting protein remains one of the most powerful ways to protect your kidneys. Even if you have diabetes, that principle still holds true. You might be wondering though, can this kind of diet work for people with diabetes too? That's a great question, and the answer is yes, with some adjustments. If you have diabetes, I would personally suggest going a little lighter on the carbs than they did in this study, especially cutting down on sugar and refined starches. Instead, you can add more healthy fats, things like avocado, olive oil, and flaxseed. Still, the core idea remains the same: your body needs some carbohydrates, even when you have both diabetes and kidney disease. The key is choosing the right kind. Now, what really makes this trial so special is how simple the approach was. No fancy supplements, no complicated routines. Just real food, portion control, and consistency. The only supplement they used was plain vitamin D, that's it. And honestly, I can't help but think that if they had included even a few gentle helpers like a renal multivitamin, acacia fiber, or a good probiotic, their results might have been even more remarkable. That's all for today, my friends. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care of yourself, and God bless you all.